What's up, Journeys Crossing? Scott here. I just wanted to ask, how good is Jesus? Now, wait a second. Now, before you get crazy thinking your youth pastor doesn't love Jesus anymore, this week I've been listening to a bunch of worship music, new stuff by a worship community called Tribal. Tribl is how they spell it. And you should check them out. If you're looking for a diverse worship experience, they've got a channel on YouTube called Tribal with videos of them performing these songs live. And I found songs like Man of Your Word and Lean Back, amazing songs. And I watched as they sang these songs, and worship, rather than having like a worship service, worship just kind of broke out in the room. And it was incredible to watch and be a part of. And if you're watching it from the outside looking in, maybe you're not a Jesus follower, you're watching this happen and you're going, that's a little weird. Like, I think that's a thing. People not getting the whole singing to Jesus, the whole singing to God thing. But then I read about Jesus in the Bible. I had a friend, a mentor really, who was absolutely captivated by the description of Jesus Paul gives in the book of Colossians, chapter 1, verses 15 through 23. Here's what Paul says about Jesus. The Son is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. For in him all things were created, things in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or powers or rulers or authorities, all things have been created through him and for him. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together. And he is the head of the body, the church. He is the beginning and the firstborn from among the dead, so that in everything he might have the supremacy. For God was pleased to have all his fullness dwell in him, and through him to reconcile to himself all things, whether things on earth or things in heaven, by making peace through his blood shed on the cross. Once you were alienated from God and were enemies in your minds because of your evil behavior. But now he has reconciled you by Christ's physical body through death to present you holy in his sight, without blemish and free from accusation. If you continue in your faith, established and firm, and do not move from the hope held out in the gospel. This is the gospel that you heard, and that has been proclaimed to every creature under heaven, and of which I, Paul, have become a servant. So how good is Jesus? He's so good that even with all of that power, even with all of that glory, he made himself nothing. He's so good that he didn't hold on to the benefits of being deity, but took the very nature of a servant. How good is Jesus? He's so good that in him, everything that holds together. And even with that much power, he allowed himself to go to the cross, and he reconciled all things for all time, you and me, to God through his sacrifice. Irreconcilable things now reconciled through Jesus. That's how good he is. And that's why our lives can pour out acts of worship. When you understand who Jesus is, then maybe those videos don't seem so weird, because you understand who you're singing to, and that love and trust and obedience and service and putting others first can flow out of a life that remembers how good Jesus is. I hope that today you are reminded. Now go listen to some Tribal and see if worship pours out of you too. Have a great day, Journeys Crossing.